with the live stream. So welcome everybody to the channel. Just going to test my audio here. As you're coming in, let me know where you're listening from. If you have any questions, I would love to have a conversation with you. So feel free to drop it in the chat. Today's a unique situation. Today we're covering a topic that we don't really cover too much on this channel. But more importantly, since it's a special event, so this is my 2-year anniversary with eXp Realty, wanted to share some thoughts. So we're covering eXp Realty. This is my 2-year review. I'm going to give you the pros and I'm going to give you the cons as I see them. These are my opinions only. These are not eXp's opinions or anything like that. But I want to share with you, some pros, very light pros. I have other videos that share with you really eXp in its full context. So I'll make sure that I link that up down below, and also you can check that out in my channel. What I really want to dig into here are the cons. I've been in a very blessed position where I've had relatively okay success at eXp, and we'll talk about that here shortly. But I've approached eXp in a different light, in a different way, and I have experienced eXp in a different light, in a different way, either myself directly or with the agents that I'm partnered with. There's always something coming up. So I get to experience eXp from so many different questions, whether that's one of the agents that I sponsored has a question that I don't know about, has an issue that I would have never been in. So I get to see how eXp handles it. So I come at it from a unique perspective. But if I had to really understand why I'm making this video and where it's coming from, is I broke it down into 3 categories. One, a recent event that just happened literally yesterday / this morning, because I had a conversation about that. 2, I like documenting what's going on, not only from the eXp Realty perspective, but also from my life. And you know how on Facebook you scroll through your newsfeed and then you see your memories, something Facebook highlights something that happened 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 8 years ago, and then you have the opportunity of resharing. This is my version of Facebook memories. So my videos, these are YouTube memories, we'll call them. So this is what I like to do. Carlton, hey, I appreciate you hopping on. Let me know if you have any questions as we get going. So again, this is more of a documenting part. And then also, the reason we're going to cover the cons here is, again, these are all my opinions, but I do think that they're valid enough to really go into some substantive negative things that I'd like to see improved, and also some cons that, again, my partners have run into or that I have personally experienced myself that I think could use some improvement. So you have plenty of videos in YouTube and blogs and all that fun stuff that talk about all the pros of joining eXp. Hint, hint, they're going to say it's the best thing since sliced bread because they want you to be part of the revenue share organization. So one of those points is going to come up very, very frequently here on this on our time together. So just kind of leading the witness in that regard. So those are 3 reasons that I wanted to do it. 1, a recent event that happened. 2, really documenting what's going on. And then 3, really going into the cons of eXp Realty, because although there are many, I want to highlight the main one that I see them. eXp is not immune to some room for improvement. So that's what we're going to cover today. As far as the event that I'm talking about that just happened yesterday / today, is I only had 1 broker prior to joining eXp Realty. So I only had 1 broker. I was with him for about 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, 2 to 3 years. And so yesterday I had a conversation with him, really good conversation with he and his business partner. And then also had a conversation with him this morning. And I'm happy, glad, I'm ecstatic to say that the individual who is my former broker is now joining eXp and is partnering with me. So I thought that was pretty cool. It was just going through and seeing how the circle of life kind of happened. It really got me thinking about this particular topic. So this is a live stream that I was not planning to do a live stream on. I was planning to do this in a recorded fashion and then upload it later. But that kind of just precipitated. So I thought, why not come on to live streams and let's talk about it. All right, who are we here? Let's see. Good afternoon. Exactly. We need to be aware of the cons. Absolutely, Marilyn. You're 100% correct. Nick, hey, how's it going? Timely video. Thanks for covering. I appreciate you, Warren. Thank you, everybody. So yeah, I thought that was unique. I thought that was it shows the power of relationships. Not my relationships, but the power of relationships, where one of the more difficult conversations that every agent that has made the trip over to eXp that I've personally helped come over this way is it's one of those that I really take the time to sit down and we talk about the exit strategy, because you don't want to burn bridges. At the end of the day, you're seeking the best interest for you, your career, your family. You can't put your broker's position above your own. So that's why those are so complicated. But anyway, so just wanted to highlight that because it was interesting. Now let's get into the pros. Let's get right into it. Now that we have some context, as you're coming in, a like is going to go a long way. It's going to send out those notifications. And also, if you have any questions, happy to address. The first pro that I wanted to cover, we're going to go very quickly here because I want to get to the cons as quickly as possible. I don't want this to be a long video. The revenue streams. There are an abundant amount of revenue streams. So by my count, there are 10 revenue streams. The revenue streams that most people are aware of, most agents tap into, are the commissions. So selling houses, which is awesome. That's what a brokerage is. Selling houses, that's the commission front, and then revenue share. So the referral fee program, commonly known as revenue share, where if an agent joins eXp and you sponsor that agent, you receive a referral fee. Effectively, that's what it is. Most people call it a revenue share. You get a portion of that commission that the agent earns. Now, what's made eXp grow incredibly quickly, one of the fastest growing, if not the fastest growing brokerage in the history of ever, is that the actual referral fee or revenue share is coming from the eXp side. So the traditional split at eXp is 80-20, 80% for the brokerage, 20% for, let's go back, 80% for the agent, 20% for the brokerage. It's from that 20% that the revenue share program, the entire revenue share program, operates from. So when it comes to revenue streams, this is absolutely fantastic because you can monetize anything and everything. So the way that I like to say it is you can monetize any relationship. Now that sounds self-serving because in a way it is, but it's absolutely true. You can monetize home warranties. So if you do, one of your buyers buys a home warranty from the preferred vendor, there you go. If you buy into the in-house lender that eXp has, you're not going to get direct money from that, but you are going to benefit from the profits. But there you do have to invest. Our in-house is called Intralend. So I am an owner in Intralend. I have a pretty significant stake in that because I bought into the model very early on. But anyway, what I really like about the revenue streams is that there are so many different ways to monetize. As an example, everybody knows at this point eXp is a cloud-based brokerage, so it's online, if you will. So if you've ever logged into the world, you've actually been logging into a company called Verbella. Verbella was the company that created the world and has done that for many other organizations, where eXp purchased Verbella. And now you, as an agent, you have the ability of being an affiliate for Verbella. So you can monetize that. So if an organization, a school, a church, or whatnot, they go on the cloud and have a very similar campus to the way that eXp Realty has, well, you actually get monthly income from that as well because of that referral. So there's just so many different ways to monetize. Another example would be foreign exchange. So there's a lot of foreign buyers. So if they need to convert yen into dollars, you can use the partnership that eXp has, and you get a cut off of that. So there's several $100s depending on the size of the purchase. So anyway, one of the pros is all the revenue streams. So I won't get. I think I did a good enough job explaining kind of the revenue streams there. Let's get going. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down below. Training. we hear this quite a bit. You hear it used to be 40 hours of live training. Now it's 50 hours of live training. Now it's 60 hours of live training. And it continues to go and go and go, considering all the countries that we're in. As of this recording, I believe we're in 16 or 17 countries and on all 50 states. So the training is just not going to stop. Now, what I really like about this is that you have access to so many different trainings, whether you're trying to learn sales, whether you're trying to learn scripts, whether you're trying to learn marketing, whether you're trying to do whatever. As an example, I do a class the fourth Thursday of every month, and I talk YouTube. So I share with you how to get started on YouTube, but also how to monetize YouTube, from getting buyers and sellers and also getting affiliate income and really monetizing it in so many different ways that is being very well received by the agents. So as far as training by eXp, what I call corporate, that's already there for anybody and everybody, it's incredible. What we have done at the Agent First group, and I wish I would have put my flag up because they just came in the mail, but with the Agent First group, so that's the group that I started back in 2020, what we have done is we've added to that. So we've added to that just for our group. So we have daily programming. Mondays, we have the new agent jumpstart. So we have a broker spearheading that. She's our lead instructor there. She closed her entire brokerage and brought it over to the Agent First group to be part of the group and grow from there. So new agent jumpstart is on Mondays. Tuesdays, we have the Agent First Summit, where I invite a real estate professional that is achieving at a high level so many different feats, whatever they happen to be. So example, today we had the short sale queen that does thousands of transactions of short sales, specifically speaking to our group. So we got that formation, that training. Wednesdays, we have Agent First Mindset, where we focus on ourselves. Thursdays, we have the Agent First Huddles, where it's more of a community. We come to network, we come to grow, we come to share wins, losses, and everything. And then Fridays, I put my educator hat back on, and then we go into an accelerator program. So we tackle specific skill sets that we need in our business and really take that time to really grow our business. So as an example, this month and next month, we're tackling video marketing. So all that to say is training is in abundance. Whether you join with another group and join eXp without a sponsor, I don't know why you would do that, but if you want to, you can absolutely do that. There's a ton of training. From the Agent First group, there's a ton of training there as well, and very specific training where we are operating at a top, at a top notch. So give you an example of the summits are on Tuesdays. If you'd like a guest pass for that, then just send an email to admin@Jaime.Resendiz.com. Gladly extend an invitation to you. It's for us and our guests, so you can only have access to it through our guests. So anyone that you know that's part of the Agent First group can invite you, but you just can't come in off the street without an invite. So give you some examples of our past guests. We've had 2 former #1 Keller Williams agents in the world. So just put the things in context. Keller Williams has over 150,000 agents. So we've had 2 of their former #1 Keller Williams agents worldwide present to our group. So that's the level of, of a reach that we have, and that's the level of mastermind that we put together. You're going to hear a little bit about what the word mastermind means to me in the cons section, but you'll hear me reference that again. As far as the next point that I like about eXp, so another con that I've really spoken to be true and seen it in action to be true, is the support. One of the questions that I had, and one of the questions that a lot of agents that I have conversations about, what they have is, hey, I don't want to join eXp because no one's going to be there to support me. I don't know where that came from. I think that the whole proximity to a broker, because they physically see a broker, they may think, and I thought the same way, that, hey, that's the only way to get support, but it's absolutely not. If the COVID year taught us anything, it's is that you can work online. But when it comes to the pro side of it, the reason I selected support as a pro in this context is because you have an entire broker team to reach out to if there's any issues. So every single state, every single country has multiple brokers. So you have a team of brokers, you have a team of admin, you have a team of compliance officers, you have a team of people that help with accounting or anything in between. So every single state, every single country has a team. In the event that you can't reach them via the world, so that's again going back to Verbella hosting or creating eXp World, that's where we have our virtual office. In the event that that is closed or you can't get a hold of somebody, you can always go to eXp Workplace, which is our Facebook / business version of a social media platform. Only eXp agents have access to that. You can reach out to whoever it is that you're trying to reach out to. Again, if you just want to reach out to a broker, an admin person, or somebody to tell you, hey, how is this commission cut? You can reach anybody via the same ways. You can DM them in our private group. You can, eXp Workplace, by the way. You can email, you can text, you can call. So you have access to so many different people, and you have access to reach them in any way, shape, and form, and none of them require you physically going to an office. So as far as support, that's one that I have personally seen absolutely be worked out it's like unlike any other brokerage out there. So in short, revenue streams, they're in abundance. Training, it's in abundance. And then also support, it's in abundance. With that being said, let's migrate over to the cons, because I think that's where we're going to find the most amount of value. And as I mentioned before, is not meant to be disparaging. These are opinions that I hold myself. These are not opinions that are endorsed by eXp Realty, and I'm trying to be the most respectful as possible. Now, how I come up with these cons is because either I have personally experienced them, or I have seen these challenges come up in the past from enough agents, either the agents that I have personally sponsored or the agents that have flat out told me this is the reason that I will not join eXp. At this point, I have spoken over 1,000 agents personally about eXp. So I kind of know what I'm talking about. And I say that not to impress you or anything else like that, but to impress upon you that I have had conversations, very substantive conversations from brokerages that have over 200 agents, brokerages that have 5 to 10 agents. I've brought on brokerages as well and really helped agents that are just getting their license, all the way to people that are selling a lot of real estate. Agents that come into the agent first group and partner with us and cap on their first day, basically. So there's cons here, right? So I just want to kind of give you the backdrop on where I'm coming from. But with that being said, let's get right into it. Mentorship. Let's understand what this means. So what I'm trying to communicate when it comes to mentorship is it's not uniform. So taking one step back, whenever you join eXp, if you have not done at least 3 transactions in the last 12 months, you're going to go into the mentor-mentee program. Now, there are some exceptions, and we're not going to get into that. There are exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, you're going to go into the mentor-mentee program. And under that mentor-mentee program, the split is no longer 80-20. The split is 60-40. So that additional 20% that's being charged to the new agent for the first 3 transactions goes to pay eXp University and goes to pay a mentor. Now, up until now, I have no issue, because a new agent, it's only fair, they're going to get more hands-on, they have more questions, more resources, more everything. Every single brokerage does this. So it's not something that I'm opposed to. Where I do see some disconnect, where I do see some challenges, is within the mentorship itself. So to be a mentor, you actually have to apply at eXp, and you have to be approved. You have to have a certain amount of time at eXp, or a certain amount of experience within eXp, and also a certain amount of experience, period. So you as an agent, you as an eXp agent, you can apply to be part of the mentorship program. I am actually a mentor in Texas. So when you become a mentor, you get some best practices, but you don't have this is the exact thing that you need to follow. In other words, it's not really uniform. There's going to be mentors that are heavily involved, that will do ride-alongs, that will actually allow you to go to listing presentations, that will actually role play with you, that'll do a lot of hand holding. Then there's some agents that are going to be gone and never really reach out to their mentees. It's really that far of extreme. Now, most agents, most mentors do fall on the good side, but it's that lack of uniformity that sometimes bites us in the butt. It really does. But I'm not putting the entire onus or the entire thing on the mentorship program in and of itself, because I do recognize that at this point, eXp Realty, this past week alone, grew by 1,000 agents. So think about that. Those 1,000 agents, some of them could be mega producers. Some of them could be brand new agents. Some of them could be, they're just getting started and do need some additional help and resources. So you have an influx of agents coming into the brokerage where you really physically cannot mix or match all of these agents at once with mentors. So sometimes you join the brokerage and you don't get a mentor within that first week. You don't get a mentor within that second week. You don't get a mentor for that third week, because a mentor, they do need to be in your state, and generally they're going to pair you up with the mentor within that city or region. So somebody that's close to you. So those are challenges, and that's something that's going to exist. So I'm not saying this from a, hey, you need to get your act together mentor program. I'm not going at it from that angle. I'm just highlighting a con, because I don't want this video to be perceived as a fluff piece. There's another video out there, and I'm sure if you type in eXp cons, it's going to show right up there where these two individuals, these two agents, right off it clearly says on their video, the cons of eXp. Right out front, they say, they say why I left eXp. Right out within the first 5 seconds, oh, we're not leaving eXp. And then they go into saying all the good stuff about eXp. I have no interest in clickbaiting. I want you to get the real information. If you have any questions, if I left anything unsaid, please feel free to comment down below. Again, I'm glad to share with you my actual opinion on things. So with the mentorship side, I do see some room for improvement. Now, I'm not only the type of person that's just casting stones and like, oh, well, they should get better. No, I am actively doing things on my end to better that experience. So we talked a little bit about the Agent First group, so the group that I created at eXp. Our group has a ton of resources that are coming out of my pocket. So I have actual staff that is designed to support my agents. So from that standpoint, we mask the, regardless of the mentor that they get, whether it's one that's super involved, that they never have another question for me or anybody, or somebody that is calling me at 11 p.m., which happened last night, at 11 p.m. trying to figure out how to submit a contract. All of those exist. So that type of mentorship exists. So that's why the Agent First group was created, where I get to mask a lot of that, because we have, again, as I mentioned, on Mondays, we have our new agent Jumpstart. We have a dedicated broker. So she's fantastic, that actually spearheads all of that and literally does Zoom calls and shows you how to show a home. So I think that there's a lot of power in that. Anyway, so mentorship, it's there are some limitations there. I am actively trying to, help in that regard from the Agent First group standpoint, where you have agents that their first month at eXp and first month license, they're getting 2-3 deals under contract because of the formation that we provide up front. So that's a little bit about the mentorship. That's one of the cons that I see right now. The stigma, we all know it. It still exists. This is actually one of the points that kept me from eXp for over a year, and also a point that I highlighted in a previous video that I talked about some cons about eXp that hasn't gone away. I think it's been tampered down a bit, but I think it still exists. So the whole eXp Realty, same tropes. eXp Realty agents don't sell. All they do is recruit. eXp is an MLM structure and all that fun stuff. So I think as we get going, I think that this is year 12. It was founded in 2009, year 12 of the brokerage. I think for that much, I shouldn't say maturity, but for that amount of years that it's been in the business, I think eXp has absolutely exceeded any type of expectation. In 2012, it took home the most amount of awards by any brokerage out there, and I think in 2021 it's going to do the same thing. So, actually, Glenn Stanford, the founder, just got Entrepreneur of the Year by Ernst & Young. Now, I think that's what it's called. I think it's Entrepreneur of the Year. I'll need to fact check myself, but EY gave him that award. So as far as agents don't sell, I mean, just look at the units sold. You're going to see eXp top of charts. Volume sold, you're going to see eXp top of charts. So you're going to look at the top 5, top 10, whatever metrics you want. Many of those you're going to find eXp either number 1 or in the top 5. So I don't take that as I really don't see that as a sting anymore. I don't see it as a dig anymore. I don't see it as a big of a reason. I think at this point it's validated itself plenty. And as far as the MLM claim, the multi-level marketing, does it have a structure similar to that, or the structure is that? Sure. But still, to this day, somebody coming from a different brokerage, I'm not going to call any brokerage out, but any other brokerage, somebody has yet to explain to me how that's different from the way that the traditional real estate model has been, where there's a franchise owner, there's a regional franchise owner, there's an actual franchise, where they're selling all these franchises, and the broker that happens to own the franchise, they have to recruit it as much as they can, train as much as they can, try to get them into production as much as they can, and they're going to take a commission cut. So what eXp has actually done is decentralized all that and has really made it a horizontal structure to where every agent, for the price of $85 a month, you can become your own franchise owner if you want. If you wanted to only focus on agent attraction, so recruiting, revenue share, referral fee share, or referral fees, whatever you want to call it. Every agent at eXp calls it differently because they're trying to stand out. But anyway, as far as the stigma, it still exists. That's still a con. It'll keep people from looking at eXp for a couple of months, for a couple of years, and sometimes ever, and they'll just stay where they're at, even though they could instantly switch brokerages. And as an example, there's a lot of top producers and other brokerages that the moment that they instantly move over to eXp, they're going to instantly cap, meaning by the amount of volume that they do, they cap really quickly. That means they go to 100% commission. And not only that, they have the opportunity of becoming an icon agent, which gives them their entire cap back, or the opportunity to earn their entire cap back in the form of stock. There's a lot of agents out there that are still paying $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, over $100,000 a year to their broker. There's no mathematical way for you to do that at eXp. The math does not work that way. There's no way that you can pay more than $30,000 to eXp regardless of the volume that you have. So it's just the math doesn't exist. But anyway, so when it comes to the stigma, that's fine. I despise these clickbait videos. You are very transparent, Jaime. That's why I appreciate your content. I appreciate you, Nick. Thank you so much. All right, validating. Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed these. Clickbait, shaking my head, right? Thanks for being transparent. I try. All right, so let's keep going. Another con is revenue share. And I know you weren't expecting it here. I know you were not expecting it here because everybody always puts it at the top. I included it as a subset, meaning in the revenue streams, all the different revenue streams that you have access to from a pro's perspective. The reason I included in the cons section is because this is a root of a lot of frustrations that happen to be in the cons section. So we talked about stigma just a couple of minutes ago or seconds ago. Well, this is actually what drives that. The reason that the eXp agents become that eXp meme of every real estate group that you're a part of, you get that overly eager eXp Realty agent that all they talk about is eXp, 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 because they recognize that anybody that signs underneath them, they get access to revenue share. They get that referral fee that we talked about. But with that being said, with the revenue share, what I want to share there is that there's a very famous video, and everyone's going to identify what it is because you probably have seen the video. There's a very famous video that talks about, if you recruit 10 agents and then they recruit an agent, you're going to be set for life. Effectively, that's what's being communicated, how life transforming it is. While that is true in and of itself, if you are able to recruit 10 agents and they happen to cap at eXp, it's no secret. The most that you can earn on the front level is $2,800 per agent. So that's a capper. If you get 10 of those, well, that happens to be $28,000 a year, right? So that's the horizontal. But if they go on to attract and everything else, and it cascades into hundreds, into thousands of agents, that's awesome. That's great. That's how you get into, I'm not going to make financial claims, but you make a substantial amount of money every single month. That's how you get to those numbers. But what we must recognize is that revenue share is not as easy as it was sold. So it's not as easy to attract an agent, period, point blank. It's not as easy to retain that agent. It's not as easy to help that agent into production. It's not as easy to get 10 cappers or 5 cappers, whatever you want to call it. It's simple. It's just not easy. So unless you have a platform, unless you are diligent about it, unless you do some intense training, and some training, some formation, it's certainly not going to be handed to you. But I sometimes fear that in everybody's eagerness, myself included at times, I'm not going to exclude myself, everybody's eagerness to share the light of eXp and how amazing it is, you're being sold a bill of goods in terms of this is going to be life-changing, it's so easy, you're going to make millions and all this fun stuff. It's not as easy to sponsor 10 agents. So thankfully I'm nearly 100 agents in in terms of sponsored agents. So I'm one of the top attractors at eXp across the entire across the entire company. So I'm the 0.001% or whatever it is. Now I say that again, not to impress you, because there's really nothing that impressive. What I'm sharing with you is that it's not as simple as people are led to believe, because if you think about it, when you talk about the big attractors in the space, I'm not going to call anybody out by name, but some top attractors in the space, they've only, I say only in air quotes, have only 40, 50 agents at tops. And yes, while their revenue share group has grown to 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, we're still talking about only recruiting 30 agents, we'll say. Yes, that manifested itself into 10,000. That's what, exponential growth, that's the power of the model. But let's just recognize it for what it is, right? So I have tripled, quadrupled, quintupled, whatever you want to call it. I don't know all my factors. A lot of the folks that have all of that and are collecting a lot of money, but that's been, oh my goodness, that's been challenging. And I have a platform, and I speak specifically to real estate agents, and I have a video every single day. I have every 800 videos in this channel helping real estate agents. So I cannot sit here and lie to you straight to your face and saying that revenue share and this program is the easiest thing to do in the world, because I recognize that I have a leg up on a lot of individuals because I have this exposure to real estate agents. So somebody that is coming off the street, don't count on getting 10 cappers. You can work, the opportunity is there. You can work hard as hell and get to that. No question about it. But don't let anybody lie to you and say that, oh, it's going to be the best thing since sliced bread. You can absolutely do it. You can absolutely do it. But don't take it as a given, because it takes some time. Anyway, going to go on going on a rant. I see a name down there. I cannot bring up another name because I don't know what that hashtag means, and I don't want to disparage anybody. So if you mention another sponsor, if you mention another agent, I will not highlight that. But that's not what that is about. Very impressive. Hey, I appreciate you, my friend. Appreciate you. Revenue share. Anyway, let's conclude that. It's a little bit more challenging. It's simple, and if you put in the work, the reward is absolutely there. Trust me, it's absolutely there. I can tell you that it's real because I'm seeing it with my own eyes. But it requires a significant amount of work and some diligence and all that fun stuff. So simply because you joined eXp does not mean that you're going to be a multimillionaire through revenue share alone. Because again, one, I wouldn't make that claim, but two, let's have common sense. Alrighty. Self-starters, welcome. I thought I retitled this point 8 different ways. By nature, I don't like insulting people, and I won't be insulting people. I don't like confrontation. So I thought of different ways to say the exact same thing. but when I say self-starters welcome, I mean agents. This is a con, by the way. Let me just set it up correctly. Agents that join eXp that really need to be handheld through absolutely everything find it very challenging at eXp. I'll put it that way. Meaning that you have to be a self-starter. You may not have all the answers. Nobody's expecting you to have all the answers, especially if you're a new agent. But if you have enough initiative to log into eXp World, to eXp Workplace, to do this, to do that, the answers are there, but they're in different places. So if you are self-starter enough, if you have enough foresight, again, I'm very, very careful with my words. I don't want to insult anybody. If you go out and seek answers, the answers are there, period, point blank. No one's going to tell me otherwise because that's not true. So the answers are absolutely there. Whether you log into eXp World and get the answer that you need, it's there. Whether you go into eXp Workplace and go through all the groups that answer questions about SkySoap, KV Core, every single state has its own group, every program, the Fast Start program, whatever, you get answers to anything and everything. But if you are the individual that physically needs to have their hand held to the copy machine to make a copy, physically have their hand moved over here to say, sit here and wait for an hour while you do desk duty. If somebody calls and they're unrepresented, they're yours. And then we can go to break and then we can come back. If you need that level of handholding, I'm not trying to sound like a jerk, but what I'm telling you is that it's going to be very challenging at eXp. So if you need to be handheld A through Z without any interruptions in between, it's going to be challenging. Even if you have an amazing sponsor, which I consider myself a hell of a sponsor for everything that I give my agents and my internal staff actually working with my agents. Even with our level of handholding, it's challenging and it's going to be rough. So I say that in the most loving way. There's the best gift that you can give yourself is the gift of self-awareness. If that's you, that's you. Claim it, own it, adapt to it, change if you need to. So just to give you a little bit of a backdrop, I mentioned my broker previously, right? Well, my first broker was a 100% broker. And this was my first broker. Like my first broker, I didn't know anything in terms of the real estate side. I had bought a few houses before because I had done a little bit of investing. But I've bought a few houses before, so I knew, I guess, technically the process, but I had no clue when I got in. I didn't know what an association was. I didn't know what the MLS was. I didn't know what everything else was. But I joined this broker, and thankfully my broker was not like a traditional discount broker that would just say, I'm charging you this money. Don't call me. They don't tell you this, but their actions tell you this. Don't call me. There's no resources. What the hell is a CRM? Thankfully, my broker wasn't that. Thankfully, my broker was somebody that I could sit in hours at a time and talk about strategy, talk about growth, talking about what's this, how do I fill out a contract, and that person was there to help me. So I'm right there with you. So when it comes to self-starters, I had I had the resources there, thankfully. So I was a starter in that sense. I didn't need to be handheld on everything in terms of everything, but I had the foresight. So what I'm trying to say here is that if you need to be walked through A to Z and you have no level of self-awareness or no level of self-starterness, we'll put, it's going to be challenging. It just will. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter the level of sponsor that you have. It's going to be challenging. I'll leave it there. Hopefully I danced enough around the topic to where I didn't insult anybody. I fall into it sometimes. So I just don't like confrontation. I'll be candid with you. But anyway, regardless of who you join, do your research. And one thing I will say about sponsorship. So at eXp, as we discussed throughout our time together, there is that revenue share program. So some people call it the referral fee program, which is effectively what a revenue share is. So when you sponsor somebody, you receive a portion of the commission from the company side for that agent and any agent that they sponsor, and on for 7 levels. That's where the MLM comes from, or that STIGMA comes from. As far as the responsibility of a sponsor, here's their entire responsibility. When you join eXp, you have to fill out an application. And right now, as of this recording, it could change in the future. It actually will change in the future. There's a video that gets played, a couple of seconds long, that really stresses, hey, this is what a sponsor is. And what it effectively tells you is who is the most influential person in you joining eXp Realty. And they ask you to place that name there. So with that being said, a sponsor, they're the ones that are responsible. You place somebody that was most influential in you joining eXp. As far as the sponsor's requirement, like what they are supposed to do, and they're not going to be faulted one way or the other, as long as they do this, they help you through that onboarding. Their job ends when you're up and going. That's when their job ends. If you look at the way that what a sponsorship is, if you have any questions, I actually have a blog on this in terms of what the sponsor is supposed to do. That's where it ends. They're not obligated to give you leads. They're not obligated to do really much beyond that. So just be cognizant of that. With that being said, do your job researching, because who you join with matters. I'll repeat that again. Who you join with matters. Now, that's the only thing I really want to say about that. It's just you're benefiting sponsors. No way around it. You're benefiting a sponsor that you join with. So put that into context. Yes, there's a lot of other attractors out there that are offering some things. I offer some things in terms of what proximity to me means. Not going to go into it right now. The purpose of this video is not to necessarily recruit you, but it's more to raise awareness that this is what the sponsorship is. This is what their requirements are. Anything above and beyond that, that's totally up to you. So just make sure that you're aware of that. With that being said, hopefully I did enough of a justice to share at least a bit more of my perspective on eXp Realty. I'm still super pro on eXp Realty. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to clickbait you on I left and then try to get you to watch more of my content. That's not what the purpose is. About 2 years in, I've seen a lot of different things really manifest themselves that I had no clue could even get to this level. So very thankful for where I am to date. Very thankful for all the partners that I've joined. I'm thankful to the point where I am one of the one of the top attractors in the entire company, and very soon I do expect to be #1, period, point blank. That is a goal that I've set for myself. So it's not an impossible goal. It's one that I'm going after actively. With that being said, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. If you would like an invite to our Tuesday summits, those are only available to the guest of my group. Then go ahead and send an email to admin@JaimeResendiz.com. So we have a lot of pretty awesome guests that really absolutely crush it and share their scripts. They share their strategies. They share their entire playbooks. out of personal favors to me and also the group that they have access to. Any questions, please feel free to let me know. I'll talk to you soon.